Time now for the voice of the land on the Big Play Network with your hosts, Kevin Arnold and Always Positive Jay.
Welcome on in to this live remote edition of the voice of the land. Of course, always thank you to Bob and Millersburg for getting the show started for us in the open, but we are live at the top Dawg Tailgate for City Dogs of Cleveland here at the WJ Green Lodge at the Metro Parks in Berea, Ohio. Our first ever live remote. I am joined, as always, by Always Positive Jay.
Guys.
He's now on my left, so instead of being able to look at him across the table, I'm looking at him on my left side.
Situation here.
And our producer extraordinaire running the ones and twos, hopefully with enough bandwidth today to be live, but we're going to replay this as well. So either you're going to watch it live, you're going to watch it usually on Sunday nights at 7 on our Twitter and all over the place. But we are so happy to be invited and doing our show live from this off-season tailgate. The guys and Eric, the organizer, who do their tailgates for Browns games under the bridge, West 3rd and Summit at the corner. They are running this event here today, and all of the money that people paid to get here goes to City Dogs of Cleveland. We'll get some of their people on as well. We will have Eric on. We'll have some guests throughout the day.
We got a loaded show today.
A loaded show. And, of course, we are always brought to you by Vector Technical. They will get the right person in the right job the first time. And I wish we could kind of turn these cameras and show you. Peter put together a great banner for our show to do these live remotes. It's got a QR code, so people, all they have to do is scan it and then goes to a website that has our Twitter, our YouTube, all of that.
We're going to be going a lot more remotes this summer.
And we'll go through that as the show goes on as well. So thank you so much for tuning in live or on replay or even audio, Google, Spotify, and Apple. But this is a Browns tailgate, so what else would we talk about but
Browns?
But the Browns. And we had the schedule come out this week. There's also been some rumors about some of the guys that they might be trying to sign. We need to start, though, with what we know now to be true, and that is a big piece of this show, or at least a big influence on this show from when Nick Paulus and myself did it, and even when you've been on it, Jay. Jarvis Landry signs a one-year reported $6 million deal with his hometown New Orleans Saints. So he moves on, and Jay, I'll kind of open the floor to you first. Your thoughts just on Jarvis. What do you want to say to him, and how much do you think this team may miss that type of leadership in this locker room?
Well, I mean, as you could see when we put our cartoon figurines up, I got the Jarvis jersey on it. Like, I love Jarvis Landry, what he brought here on the field, off the field, in the locker room. Like, the guy meant everything to this team and was so huge in the turnaround of our culture of our team. He, just did amazing things about our city. His softball game was just one of the most fun events I've ever gone to. And it just showed how much Cleveland truly loved Jarvis Landry. That day, I was just like, yeah, he's one of us. And he may be gone, but he'll always be a Clevelander without a doubt. And Jarvis, the best of wishes to you. I'm so glad you got to go home and play football for a team you probably grew up rooting for. Nothing but the best wishes to you, bud.
Now, audio, I mean, we talked about Jarvis so many times, Peter, on the show. It's just, it felt like that bless them mentality. I couldn't dig that out of the closet today, so I did like a United type shirt here today because there's a bunch of Browns fans all around. You probably see them a little bit behind us. We got a different little setup with the cameras, but I mean, Jarvis is a guy that the bless them mentality was something that we took on and kind of almost brought a different life to here on Voice of the Land, wasn't it?
Oh, definitely. It's disappointing that he's not back because I think he did really do a lot to change the culture. And I'm forever grateful as a Browns fan for that. But I get it. I understand that the Browns, they're trying to go a little bit younger in the wide receiver room, and we've got a lot of young talent. How many veterans do we need? It would have been nice to see him back just because he's just off the field. He's just such a huge personality, just such a great guy. So, best of luck to him, except for when, we play, because we played the Saints.
We play the Saints second to last game?
I think so.
Isn't that Christmas Eve? I believe that's Christmas Eve. Yeah.
So I'm hoping, Jarvis maybe decides to, take a day off and spend it with his family instead.
Yeah, he should spend Christmas Eve with his family.
But he's going to get a great reception here.
Oh, yeah.
And I would be absolutely shocked if there were any sort of boos for him being announced or I feel like Browns fans are even going to see him make a catch if he's in that game, and still
He'll never be
still
booed in
cheer.
that stadium.
No, I don't think he'll ever get booed because he didn't lead. It wasn't him.
Right.
It wasn't. He didn't make the decision. It wasn't
Right.
broadcast like that. It's his contract was up. They didn't come to terms. It seems like it was pretty amicable.
Right.
So, yeah, I think he's going to have a heck of a reception when he gets here. I think there's a lot of fans that are just.
He's
huge.
one of those players you will be forever able to wear his jersey.
I think so.
And
I hope so. I mean, I bought it last year.
yeah, I have a couple Jarvis jerseys in the closet too. So that is a jersey that you can wear forever. And like Peter was just saying, he didn't leave on bad terms. And now, from a business standpoint, did he maybe overvalue himself for what the production and the unfortunate injuries the last couple of years? Probably. From a market standpoint, probably. But I don't want to, kind of downplay what Jarvis was and what type of player he is. He's going back home where he feels comfortable to do a prove-it deal, just like we've seen so many other veteran players do in the NFL over the course of the
Clowney
time
with us last year.
Clowney is the best example from recent history. Prove-it deal, and I don't know if we'll get into him a little bit later with maybe some of our guests or just kind of in our just our talk segments, but I don't know if he's waiting for. There's just like a handshake deal, and they're just kind of like waiting until he comes in, he feels comfortable working out or whatever. I don't know, but Jarvis has taken that prove-it deal and get himself healthy. He's playing in a dome half the year, so I think that's going to be a big move for him. For me, and this show, I mean, bless him wasn't just something for this show. I don't know if I've ever told you, Jay, but when I was coaching soccer in Wycliffe, I used that phrase with our high school team. And, I mean, the girls, bought into it. Mm-hmm. They were, in practice, good plays, like celebrations, like they were doing like that, the praying hands together and kind of like mouthing bless them or, kind of coming up to me. And it was kind of like a rallying cry, it wasn't just impacting inside the locker room in Berea and at First Energy Stadium. It was, it was all around. It was for fans everywhere.
Well, I mean, perfect example. His impact goes far beyond the football field and for this city.
Yeah,
it really does.
It absolutely does. And that's why, so many Browns fans are probably, upset to finally see the news that it's real, that he's not coming back. But we all kind of had a sense he wasn't coming back. But again, the impact that he had, and this it helped with the whole Hard Knocks thing. I don't know how you guys feel about that or how time has changed your thoughts on that when he did that speech with, it's contagious, bro, it's contagious. Getting guys that are just nicked up a little bit here and there that are just collecting a paycheck and sitting out of games. If you could play, if you were well enough to play, go out there and play is what he was saying. But my connection with him, the show's connection with him, why we appreciated Jarvis was not just from seeing that, because that could always be, Hollywoodized on a TV show. He was that way all the time, and it was the moments that you saw it genuine that was the starting point, but it really sunk in for us when we saw it when the cameras weren't rolling. I don't know how you feel about that moment. I think that's where maybe a lot of people's fandom comes from, and that's where they harken back to. I try not to, because that's not what.
Honestly, I never watched Hard Knocks. I've only seen the clips of that.
It's the first moment, but it's not what defines Jarvis's time here in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm. I just remember his play on the field was amazing to me. I remember the catch against Carolina when he split the two defenders. Just that first game Baker's first game against the Jets, and he was just catching touchdowns over people, just snatching them right over their head.
Yeah,
I just love the way he plays, man. A receiver with great hands is just the best thing in the world to a team or quarterback.
Yeah, and Peter even said it too. Going younger, if you hear at rookie minicamp Kevin Stefanski talk about David Bell or Paul D. Podesta after the draft, and he's saying that Kevin Stefanski coming in his office like that's my guy, things like that. They have that younger version. I'm not going to compare David Bell to Jarvis Landry because that's not fair to David, and that's not fair to Jarvis.
That's what they're hoping for.
But that's the type of receiver, a guy that's sure-handed in the slot, that those quick out routes and then turn it upfield, get some space. Because as much as people want to talk about David Bell's speed and this 4.65 40,
I mean, the best receiver in the league ran the exact same 40.
Yeah,
Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, 4.62. Like
The greatest receiver ever ran a slow 40 in Jerry Rice. Speed isn't everything. Does it help? Yeah, sure. And it causes defenses to adjust and everything. But if you can run proper routes and you could just, catch the ball.
Yeah.
Unlike the receivers we had when we first started off since 99, where guys would just drop the ball and we'd lead the leagues and drop balls. Once Jarvis got here, boom, that stopped. And I hope it continues with David Bell.
And, I mean, again, you don't want to compare anybody, but there's countless examples. And there's a reason why they call certain players in the NFL that don't have success track guys. Because if you got straight line speed, that doesn't always equate to being able to play in this league. Now, it depends on how much they take to coaching.
Well, we're going to see that with Anthony Schwartz. Is he a track guy? Or was last year with Baker's injury and everyone else's injuries, just a result of that being his bad play? Or is this guy going to learn from his second year and tear up the league with that speed?
And take to the coaching.
He's got to take to the coaching.
I don't know how Chad O'Shea is off camera, but that's a guy that maybe I'm kind of going against my own rule here, but you see him on Building the Browns. That's the Browns-specific kind of television or video programming. Every time I hear their wide receiver coach, Chad O'Shea, talk, like I almost want to run through a brick wall. So if Schwartz can take to the coaching, if DPJ can take to the coaching, each of them figure out their role, this can be a good wide receiver group. I would say that that's probably one of the two biggest question marks on this team going into the season. But there is a lot of depth everywhere as well.
See, like, we haven't gotten into the Deshaun Watson coming here yet, but if we're being honest, the guy does on the field help the receivers. He makes them better. Baker, I think, was a quarterback that needed great receivers around him to make him better, where he's a kind of quarterback that will bring up receivers. At least we can hope for it.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm just looking through to see if I got to make sure I get all these retweets in. I got to get people to watch if we're actually streaming here. So we'll probably have to do that in the break. So a lot of people probably missed our first segment here. But yeah, I think the best thing to do is to just say thank you to Jarvis. I know people want to maybe take it one way or the other, like, this guy can't play, this guy, or why would we even let him go? These arguments that go back and forth. Right now, the best thing to do, as much as it hurts to see him go, is to say thank you, because that's a guy that's going to always have a place in a fandom here in Cleveland. Mm-hmm. You see these guys come back all the time, whether it was, I don't know, guys that were here for a couple of years or many years. If they impacted the fans in any way, if there was some sort of rallying cry for the fans, they're going to love them. So thank you so much, Jarvis. Continue to bless them in your career. Yes, we might be rooting for the Browns in the game on Christmas Eve, but we're still going to be rooting for you and to have success and to finish your career the way you want to, and not the way I know the last couple of years have gone. And now frustrating that it must be going through those injuries. So thank you so much on behalf of Voice of the Land and Browns fans here at the Top Dog Tailgate.
And there's a lot of them here.
Yes, there is. Now, before we hit our break, because we're on for a lot longer than usual, so we can go a little bit longer in every talk segment. The schedule came out this week. You asked me the question before we came out. I'll ask you first, then you can kind of ask me to get my answer, because I told you I wouldn't do it off camera. What is the one thing that you look for when the schedule comes out, or what's the one thing that always stands out to you?
It's the home opener for sure. It's 100% the home opener, and I don't know why, but I have to know who we play first. After that, it honestly don't matter, and I'll probably go through, like I was telling you, I'll go through the schedule, and I'll play the schedule game pretty much in my head and be like, all right, take a guess what the record's going to be. It'll probably be completely wrong. Every team I think will beat will lose. Every team will lose, I think will lose to will beat. So, yeah, I just like to know who the home opener is against, to be honest. How about you?
Oh, you're going right to me? We can't even get audio in on this?
All right, we'll go to audio here.
Audio, what you got?
I like to see when we face the opponents in the AFC North. I always like to see who we're going to have first, because it's kind of like that sets sets the table, sets the whole thing for the season, right? Last year with the Chiefs, that was rough. It's like everyone's like, oh yeah, it's a rematch, but let's be honest, that was a rough rematch. Did they play great against them? Yeah. Wish they would have won it, but seeing when we're playing those rivals, like, you know, some of the games we have going on this year, I'm pretty excited about those. But I think that first game, like you said, that first game to me, I think kind of sets the table of like, you know, here's what the season's going to look like. And
Well, yeah, we've lost the first game since like Jeff Garcia was our quarterback.
well, we hit, you know, we tied the Steelers in what was it, 2000? Was that
the
20
opener or just the home opener?
I thought that was the opener.
I'm not sure.
So I don't know, but
All
yeah,
I remember is leaving.
Sorry,
so
I'm getting all our
confused.
shares. In which game are you guys talking about?
So when we tied the Steelers, that was the opener. I think that was the opener because I think we were both 0-1.
Oh yeah.
0-1.
Yeah, it's like, well, we didn't lose. Yay.
Well, another thing I do look forward to is seeing where the bye week is. You want to see it like in a nice placement, not real early or not too late. They actually benefited this year, like kind of right in the middle. That's important. And for me, like, I've never gone to another stadium in my entire life outside of Cleveland.
Are you going? Because I saw you tweeting about. Are you going to a road game?
I'm going to. I want to go to multiple road games this year. I want to go to the Miami game because it's nice in like November, so that'd be awesome. Just
well,
to get
if we can get some more sponsors, maybe we could all go.
You know?
Exactly. That'd be great.
That would be fantastic.
I want to go to the Buffalo game. I think that'd be awesome.
Oh, that would be a good game.
I think that's the one that a lot of Browns fans are going to go to, and you're going to see videos of Browns tailgaters, Buffalo Bills tailgaters kind of coming together for that. I mean, yeah, I know it's going to be cold that time, but we both go through the same thing. So, like, if we're going to tailgate in our own city when it's cold, you might as well still do it in a city that's the same way.
Yeah, I was totally hoping that game was early in the year. I was like, oh, please just let the Buffalo game be in the
is that
early
the
year.
First game after the bye?
I'm not even sure, to be honest.
I'll bring up the schedule here. I was trying to bring up some comments to see if anybody had anything as I was sharing it. But, I mean, you kind of took the one thing that I look for is the bye week because
it's important.
And I think even more so now because we've seen now 2 years under this organization, under this coaching staff, with the bye week in the middle of the season versus really late in the season. How did they adjust? Well, it was too far gone. They didn't make enough in-season adjustments to make those. It's
like those injuries never got the chance to heal, and they just kept getting a little worse, a little worse, a little worse, a little worse.
Yeah, I almost compare the bye week in football to a halftime.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it doesn't maybe happen for everybody at their halfway point, like it will for the Browns this year. It might happen earlier, might happen much later. But halftime, you have time, like actual time without anybody else around you to make adjustments. That's what's happening in a halftime locker room. That's what's happening those 2 weeks during that bye week is, yeah, guys get away. They get to reset their mind. They're having meetings with their coaches. What do they need to improve on? How can we adjust what you're doing and what you do best enough? We're not going to be able to do a lot of it, but we can do a little bit to bring out more of what you do best. But you still got to be able to make adjustments in game, in season. As games are going week to week to week, you got to be able to make adjustments, not just planning for the team you're going against, but how can you get better as a team so that what you do, it doesn't matter what another team does against you. It doesn't matter how they may scheme against you defensively or what offense they try to run in what defensive deficiencies they see in you. Everything that you have, the culture, the setup, offense, defense, special teams, it can go out and win a game any Sunday. That's what you're trying to do, and they didn't do that enough. So I'm looking more so in the schedule for the bye week because I've seen them have success with the middle of the year. But I'd also like to see, it's not always going to be the same. I'd like to see consistencies no matter when the bye week is.
How do you like ending the season against Pittsburgh?
I mean, it just feels like that's
it should be that way. Like Ohio State, Michigan, last game is them. It should end against Pittsburgh, I think, every single year. I actually hate opening against our division early.
Well, now if you look back at it, ending with a game in Pittsburgh, that never really bodes well because people tend to lose their jobs.
Yeah, having a couple times.
When a season ends in Pittsburgh.
On the bus.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't even make it to the bus. They're like, here's a private flight home.
Sometimes a lot of the post-game shows on radio and TV and even ours now for the Big Play Network. And, of course, we are on the Big Play Network as well. Want to make sure we shout.
Dynamite drop in.
Hey, man, I'm just trying to be professional over here while we're out at a tailgate.
I just like to say dynamite drop in whenever I can.
But, yeah, I mean, sometimes on these post-game shows, you're getting breaking news and you're not even talking about the game and like the season that ended. You're talking about the next person to be fired and like, oh, well, what position do we got to fill now? Who's going to be the next coach? Who's going to be the next GM?
Well, we don't have to worry about that this offseason.
That's what the hope is, and that's what all the setup is. Now, we've talked ad nauseum about, who has been brought into the team and all those dynamics. Yes, they're still not great, but there are plenty of players on this team that you can still root for. And at the end of the day, we are always going to be Browns fans. It's in our blood. It's in our nature. As long as many of the people here do, keep a realistic eye on everything and know that, hey, there are things that matter more. Let me just get to a game so I can just see that. And that's why I don't play the schedule game. We may have that debate later on.
Yeah.
We're going to hit our first break, though, right now.
Sounds good.
We got to get our messages from our sponsor. We do have at least one sponsor. We got to make sure we get our messages in. So we'll be back. We're going to be joined by some guests. We hope to get the organizer, Eric, on the show here in just a little bit. You are tuned in to the Voice of Land right here on the Big Play Network.
Are you struggling to hire the right talent or maybe even find the right career? Vector Technical makes it easy. Since 1992, Vector has provided Ohio employers with a reliable process for hiring and have helped thousands of job seekers advance in their careers. Vector Technical is more than just a temp agency. We invest time to get to know each client and candidate personally. Vector places people in job opportunities that they are truly excited about. Interested in learning more? Visit our website at www.vectortechnicalinc.com to see a full list of our current job opportunities and to find out what Vector Technical can offer you.
Welcome back to the Voice of Land. As we are working through some of the kinks here, being live on remote WJ Green Lodge here in the Metro Parks in Berea, Ohio, at the Top Dawg Tailgate off-season edition of it. And we are being joined momentarily by the organizer, Eric, jumping on the show.
Oh, man, he's letting the wild hair out now.
Yeah, got to get the hair out there. The headset wouldn't go over the hat, even though as much of a great hat as that was. Eric.
The Mike Clevenger hair?
Yeah, your Mike Clevenger hair. Eric, thank you so much for having us out here.
Where's the camera? What do I look at?
Just looking straight ahead, right between Peter and his son, or we call him audio because nobody ever actually sees him on camera. So, but Eric, just talk to the people about what you guys are building with doing this kind of a tailgate event during the off season.
Oh, the Browns don't give us any opportunities to have any playoff games at home. Yeah. So we have no opportunities to tailgate. So I figured, what can we do in the off season, which is long because we look forward to the draft, and then it's a long summer with hopes and dreams that are usually shattered by November. And so I figured that we should do something in May, a tailgate that can bring everybody together. So in the tailgate world, you have this person tailgates at Muni, this one part tailgates at Burke, this one does at West 6. So I was like, well, they don't ever leave, so why can't we get them all together at one time for a good cause? So I figured we'll just do this event where people come from different parking lots and tailgating activities, bring them together for a great cause once a year.
So it's a hodgepodge of tailgaters all meeting up in one spot.
No one's gonna be at West 6 and like, oh, I'm gonna visit you at Burke. That's like a 45-minute walk.
I think I was the only person that was doing
I think
that
you did that. I was like,
year.
are you crazy?
Well, you've seen his tailgate has been featured on the Tales of Tailgate with our podcast.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's a good turnout today. Last year we had 112 people, so this year is a little bit better. It's always weather dependent, but if you can watch,
it's holding out.
Yeah, if you can watch the Browns during a tsunami, I think we had 5 games last year. It was all rain. I think you can come to a little event, and it's got a little awning here, and it's pretty chill. I would say it's like a PG-13 version of a family picnic, dysfunctional family picnic.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So you're raising money for which cause today?
City Dogs Cleveland. So we're dogs, and so they're dogs. So I figured that dogs need some attention. You don't need to buy a dog from a pet store or anything like that. Plenty of dogs that need homes. Their kennel is full, so they usually have some good deals on adoption. So
and they do great work with them, getting them adjusted back to living with people.
Yeah, some of the things these people do to the animals, they should be flogged out back or publicly stoned. I think some things they do are kind of disgusting. So I figured that raise some money for these guys and do the best I can to get awareness.
They can't do anything to help themselves, really, so we got to look out for them.
The dog is the best friend. I mean, they're happy to see you when you go get the mail, and if you're gone for 3 weeks, they don't know the difference. They're just happy to see you.
Well, I brought my fiance out, and she's been wanting us to adopt a dog for a while. We need to have the right living situation for it. That was kind of something for after the wedding, which takes place next week. But
because my co-host gets married next week, by the way.
Oh wow!
Next Saturday.
Hey, this place is up for bachelor parties.
We already had our party.
Yeah, we had all those. Now, Eric, the organizer of Top Dawg Tailgate, here with the off-season edition. Of course, you guys usually do it on West 3rd, and like we said, everybody can go back to our YouTube channel at Voiceland Podcast to go back to that series of Tales of Tailgating and check out what you guys do over there in case they want to check you out during the season.
They make a bunch of awesome food is what they do there.
You know, the thing is, like, if we're not going to win any games, at least we're going to eat like champs.
Yeah.
So I figured just
the big thing, because like I said, I've gone to so many now. The difference with yours and a lot of others, yours is very kid friendly. It's very family oriented. You could bring young kids there, and they're fine.
I mean, if you're looking for vegan options or gluten free, probably not the best place to go. But if you're looking to get your fill,
in trouble over there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Hey man, I can't help the allergies that I have. I figure it out. I always figure it out. I always figure out ways to eat.
You make the best out of it.
Yeah,
you make the best.
Figure out ways to eat. Eric, what are your? The schedule just came out. What are your impressions of it? I mean, how many wins do you see for this team?
Oh, we're gonna play the win-loss game. Let's see.
I mean, we don't play the schedule game on here. We just kind of go like you want to go in a range. All you have to do is a range. You don't even have to give a total.
10 wins.
10 wins.
Okay.
Is that good? I mean.
Do you think that would get this team in the playoffs for how deep the AFC is right now?
No, I think you need to get 12 wins, 11-12, because these guys, for some reason, they thought like Cincinnati got worse or something like that. They were like one play away from winning the Super Bowl.
They just went out and beefed that offensive lineup.
You know, we haven't even won a division since 1989, so we got a lot of work to do. Like we do a lot of talking, and
so you're more of the prove it than before you start.
When they scan my ticket and I go to the way up the top at 537, I'm all excited, and usually by the second quarter, I'm like, "Yep, all right, here we go again."
Yeah.
But for some reason, it's like a moth to the light. We just keep coming back for more punishment, but hey,
we're Browns fans, man.
That's all you can do.
We were just talking before we went to break and brought you on. I mean, the last game of the year is scheduled to be in Pittsburgh again, and that's usually like the
one where they fired the coach.
Yeah, the coach, the GM, something like that.
I think that Stefanski will be on the hot seat if they don't finish above 500 because you got too much talent on the team to. I mean, if this Watson project, Massage Boy, if it doesn't work out, the Browns are gonna be bad for a long time. I can see that because remember those days where it's like people are coming looking for a section or their seat or just like grab a row. Yep. Those days are going to come back because draft picks. Like I can see if the Browns are tanking or not or they're losing. I can see Myles Garrett and Nick Chubb. Like they're not young puppies anymore. They're gonna be like fifth, sixth year in the league. Yeah, they're gonna want to win. Like they're not gonna wait around for the Browns to get their act together. And I don't blame them. I was kind of hard about the Jarvis Landry thing. That kind of broke my heart.
Yeah,
because going into the season with DPJ and Schwartz, I'm like,
we have Cooper. I absolutely do love Amari Cooper. I think he's very good.
Yeah, I mean,
but he's not the vocal leader that Jarvis Landry.
No, you need a guy that
he's very Nick Chubbish.
Yeah, just very politely. Doesn't take it right on red or anything like that. Just follows all the rules. I get it, but you need a little bit of an attitude. It seems like the Browns always get pushed around, and guys like Jarvis, I know he's a little chippy, but I think you need a little bit of chips on his shoulders here. Get some attitude going.
Let's Kareem Hunt now.
Yeah,
he's got the attitude.
Yeah. Well, he might be out of here too.
This is going to be his last season. That's what
it's kind of funny. They're like Stefanski and these. I read these Browns things all the time. They're going to put Nick Chubb and Hunt in the backfield at the same time. It took you this long to figure it out? I mean, really?
Yeah, it's not like we were clamoring for it. I know that they say when you start listening to fans, you end up with the fans, but there's certain things that fans, media, anybody with kind of just a keen eye or lack thereof can see, and they still won't do them because they still want to act like they're smarter than everybody else. My biggest concern is what you were just talking about, is that leadership in the locker room. Do you have other concerns for this team going forward? Because they are in a win-now mode outside of how long Deshaun Watson gets suspended. You give him $230 million guaranteed. Within that contract, you better be in a Super Bowl, if not winning one.
Definitely. I mean, with AFC, it's just like, okay, every team in AFC West got a real quarterback.
I mean, it's an arms race in the AFC
we're going to we have to score points. There's none of this, I'm tired of how, Stefanski's learning on a job. Wait a minute. I need to win now, not learn for you to how to coach.
Gone. After 2 seasons, you have to know what you're doing for sure, 100%.
Yeah, I got to look at the film. You know what? Look at this film. I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, some of the stuff they do is like it's just unbelievable. Like when the fans say run the ball, like most of the time we're right. Like when we're 3rd and inches, why are we going 3 wide, 4 wide? Just smash the ball. If you can't get 1 yard, I mean, you don't deserve to win.
We're not just brought up to be fans in this area. The game was invented in Canton, Ohio, so we're taught who to be fans of, but also what the game of football is supposed to look like. And maybe as much as it changes and people say it changes over the years, there's still the basics that should be done that aren't done because people are just overthinking them.
I want to know the statistic between blood pressure people in Cleveland, Ohio, and everybody else. Because like during football season, I'm sitting there like this.
Some interesting
got to be
stats.
kidding me. I mean, it's just like seriously.
I know I've seen some news reports that towards the end of every year where they say like, oh well, Cleveland was this year, Cleveland was that. I've seen Cleveland being one of the most stressed metropolitan areas.
It's the only fan base where like they're fighting against each other. Whether there's Johnny Football versus Brian Hoyer, where there's you want a dome or retractable roof, and like, okay, all I want the Browns to do is win.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
I don't care about the Patriots. They won a bunch of Super Bowls, and their stadium was built after ours, and they don't even have escalators to the upper deck. They got ramps. But guess what? For 20 years, they had an invoice saying playoffs. We're here fighting about this, and this. We've got to get it together. This is just getting sad. You're seeing generations of
this fan
Browns,
base doesn't deserve it. That's for sure. They deserve
definitely.
playoffs every year.
Yeah,
every year.
And that's like thrown around throughout the year of different fan bases. And I know that we're here in the area, so it sounds like it's biased. But I mean, everything that we've gone through. If a team that's been good for so long goes through one bad year and their fans are clamoring for it, then everybody, national media and stuff, feels bad for them. We've endured this, and like you said, we're a glutton for punishment, and we just keep coming back for more and more because at some point it's got to break.
I mean, we look back at these highlights of Eric Metcalf running 2 kickbacks against the Steelers. That's our defining moment. They finished 7-9 that year and didn't make the playoffs. Whoop-de-doo. I mean, give me something relevant to look at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's what we're hoping for. That's what we feel like this organization has put all of their chips in the center of the table to do. So we'll see how it works out.
It almost seems like they're neutered, though. They always have this dog pound, They want to, like, advertise the dog pound. They show the screen and, people in the 80s and stuff like that. These fans are on their phones these days, but I get it. There's nothing to look at. But, like, it's not the same kind of atmosphere. Like, they don't have the same kind of toughness.
Oh, I've been trying to get more. If you ask Kevin, he went to a game with me. I'm absolutely insane to the point I have no voice the next day. I'm screaming, pounding those chairs in front of me.
Yeah.
And I try to rally everyone around. But, yeah, I think we need to be louder every single down on defense. I want teams to literally fear coming here like they did in the 80s.
Me too. I mean, I actually, you know what? You know how Buffalo built their stadium outdoors?
Yeah.
Their fans embrace the cold. That's who they are. We're trying to run under a pavilion when it gets a little chilly out.
Well, their fans also slam themselves through tables. So
That's
they're a little on the
actually,
crazier
we had 200 Bills fans come to our tailgate a couple years ago. I said, hey, listen.
No table smash.
They're $49.99 at Costco's and BJ's. Says, just don't break them. Okay, you don't want to. Just don't break them.
Yeah, we gotta keep using these throughout the season.
Yeah. Good fans.
So
yeah.
Let's get to some more food talk now.
Oh my God.
What do you guys got going on today? What are you guys cooking
let's
up
see.
here?
There's gumbo over white rice.
All right.
Smashed onion burgers.
All right.
There's barbecue chicken legs, coleslaw, baked beans,
Excuse me,
pulled pork sliders. Yeah. So the thing at our tailgate is like all our food is made from scratch. We're not getting anything from Mark's getting running potato salad that's expired 3 days ago. Everything's made right now or the night before. So you get that home quality taste. So at our tailgates, it looks massive, but it's got that small tailgate feel vibe because we don't have any egos or sponsorship or nothing like that because we don't need that. We just bring people together and just eat. Because if we're not going to win, at least I'm going to be full.
Oh yeah,
I'm not paying $1 inside that stadium. Sorry, Jimmy, I'm not paying $1 inside that for a $12 hamburger.
I get my drink inside the stadium. I go in full when I leave that tailgate.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
But yeah, we have a few dogs here for today. We have a little cornhole tournament. So, I'm just glad that people came out because I think that we need to come together more because, I read Twitter, I read these blogs, and I listen to talk radio, and it's like everyone's always at each other's throats. Like, why don't we just come together, have a couple beers, and just live life?
The world has a lifetime of beautiful places to
Oh,
visit.
my God.
Why are we arguing with each other when we can spend that time enjoying this place together?
I know. I mean, life is short. You know, I mean, hey.
We were just saying, if everyone did a little bit like what you're doing today is amazing, man. That's awesome. But if everyone did something like this, imagine how much better the world would be.
Yeah, my Twitter account is strictly tailgating and helping out dogs. I mean, the one thing I get a lot of people that ask me questions about tailgating. Tailgating is what you want it to be. You know, I got these small groups that ask me questions. I'm like, I had just as much fun with 12 people in the muni lot back in the day than I do with 250 people. As long as you're having fun, it doesn't matter what other people are doing. Worry about yourselves. I mean, it's not a competition. People make it out to be a competition. Like, you know, this tailgate's better than this tailgate. You know what? Who cares? They're all fun. It's not even the tailgate. It's like the people that come there. It's not the parking lot. Like, oh, yeah, meeting lot's better than this and this.
It is all about the crowd.
The people that you come
and
with.
the food.
Yeah, and the food. Yeah.
Always about the food. You got any surprises for this guy for his 40th birthday celebration?
We got a cake going on at hey, you know, we got a cake today. You know, you gonna blow it out?
I mean,
you good at blowing? I'm just kidding.
Oh man,
personal show. Personal show. Well, we got a cake for you, and the one lady's supposed to bring candles. If not, we'll just hold a lighter like we're at a Def Leppard concert, and you can blow that out.
Awesome.
Yeah?
Well, thanks for coming on. You got a bunch of people to get to and stuff, so we appreciate the time.
Before we let you go, just let the people know how they can follow you and connect with events like this and even just the tailgate during the season.
So, you know, I'm not that socially inept with I'm pretty inept with the hashtags and all that crap. If you type in Top Dawg Tailgate, TOP, DWG Tailgate, it'll come up on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. So, you know, my number's usually listed on there too. I'm like, hey, I get it. You want to call them, but you can find me. I'm easy to find.
Easy to find. And Eric, again, thank you so much for allowing us to come out here, allow us to do a show. We thought more of the podcasts were going to be doing a show out here. So
the thing is like you invite 100 people. Hey, you can only
said
you can
now
only,
it's exclusive.
Yeah, now now you can only give the invitation out. You know, that's why you always collect money up front because like you have a party, you know, for this big. I mean, hey, listen, you can be out a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, but hey, they said they're going to be here. Hey,
you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
Exactly.
All right, Eric. Well, thank you so much. We'll let you get back to
Super Bowl, Super Browns, right?
Yeah, Super Bowl, Super Browns. For sure. So, Top Dawg Tailgate. Make sure you guys follow them on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and all the updates will come through where they're at during the season and doing more of these off-season things for a good cause. Thank you so much.
Imagine the playoff tailgates. Let's get there first.
Oh, yeah. Let's get there first. We'll hit another break here on the Voice of the Land. Okay. This is VTL on the Big Play Network.
Whether you're looking to hire new talent or start a new career, Vector Technical has you covered. Vector Technical is a 28-year-old staffing firm that has helped thousands of job seekers advance in their career with reputable partners throughout northeastern Ohio. Vector Technical is more than just a temp agency. With an above-average hire-in rate of 1 in 4 candidates, Vector works hard to connect the right person with the right opportunity the first time. Vector Technical hires for skilled manufacturing and light industrial work and is sure to have a career that you've been looking for. To learn more, visit our website at www.vectortechnicalinc.com.
Get your gear at voiceoftheland.com/shop.
Welcome back to the Voice of the Land. I gotta remember to put this thing down. We're having great conversations with Eric there off camera and during the break, and just the atmosphere is, he kind of described it best. Eating some good food on a nice day, kicking back with some drinks, just with some good people.
They're all just friendly, good people here.
And this is, as Jay said before the break, this is, I guess, the exclusive live remote for Voice of the Land at the Top Dawg Tailgates at the WJ Green Lodge inside the Metro Parks located here in Berea, Ohio. We
have Beth coming up now.
Yeah, we do have Beth coming up here. This is a tailgate for City Dogs of Cleveland. So if you see us kind of sliding back and forth, we'll work out the kinks. It's our first live remote. There's always going to be kinks when it's the first. So we'll bring Beth in here from City Dogs. We'll get her all mic'd up before bringing her on. And but it is such a great event and going to such a great cause. So, Beth, thank you so much for jumping on with us. You are here with the City Dogs of Cleveland. Just express kind of the connection that you have with the tailgate here.
So Eric, Tailgate Eric, he is a really obviously super excited about the Browns. He's also super excited about City Dogs of Cleveland. So we've worked with him before. This is our second cornhole tournament with him. They have great tailgate food, great people. We've met volunteers, new adopters. So any funds that are raised today go back to the dogs. It helps to pay for canine enrichment, medical needs, volunteer programs at the kennel. We are running an adoption promo till the end of May. So check out City Dogs Cleveland on all social medias and Friends of City Dogs Cleveland and see how you can volunteer, adopt, donate, and make a difference for these dogs.
Now, I did the Tales of Tailgate we were talking about, where I went and videotaped it. It was the mac and cheese fundraiser you guys had there, so they were actually featured on that episode.
Yes, he loves his food, and I will say he's really good.
Yes.
All the guys that cook all this stuff, it's delicious.
Beth joining us from City Dogs of Cleveland. And so with City Dogs of Cleveland, just kind of express to the people that may not know or heard of your guys' kennel, they may have known like county kennels, things like that. What is your guys' mission statement or just trying to do for the animals and getting them good homes here?
Well, City Dogs Cleveland is the adoption division of animal care and control. So every dog that comes through the doors of the Cleveland Kennel, 9203 Detroit and Cleveland, ends up in our kennel, and some dogs get returned to owners, some dogs go to rescue, and some dogs get adopted. So while they are living at the kennel, we help to make their lives as best as they can be. Canine enrichment, medical needs, taking care of them, walking them, hiking. We just try to do the best that we can to find these guys the best homes that they could get.
And I know you got some dogs out here today.
We do.
What dogs are out here with us today? I know we can't see them from our vantage point. But
today we have Rigby and we also have Lavelle. Both of these dogs, Lavelle's a girl, Rigby's a boy, are available for adoption. They're here hanging out, meeting the public, being kind of like goodwill ambassadors, and getting people to come in to check out our booth over here and to see if they'd be interested in adopting them or helping them in some way.
Now, you guys feature a dog each week on the Dog Table podcast, friends of ours.
Yes. Jared and
Craig.
Every week they do feature a different city dog. I'm happy to announce they have been featuring City Dog Hope. She's been with us for a while as a foster, and City Dog Hope got adopted today. We are so ecstatic.
Yes.
This is a really big deal. But yeah, anything that we can do, like to work with the community, to work with you guys, to work with every event that we go, to talk to the public, to get them in here and understand who we are and what we can do. We're always having events. If you follow our social media, we're coming up next weekend. We're participating in the Cleveland Marathon, so we'll be at the expo. And you can also check out, we're having our 3rd annual City Dogs Run Clean 5K at Edgewater on June 4th. Be sure to check that out on our social media pages. We do have registration right now, and it goes up by $5 on the 25th. So register.
So, do you find it hard getting attached to dogs and then having to watch them go? Sometimes, like certain dogs.
Well, long story short, when I started volunteering, I had no dogs. I now have 3. And I love to transport. There are city dogs from Cleveland all over the country. We've transported dogs to Colorado, Maine, Boston, New York. We take them all over to various shelters. I transported a load of dogs out to Colorado, and I left them there, came back home, and then freaked out and realized that the one dog I left there should be mine. So my husband had to go to Colorado and bring my city dog back to Cleveland.
That is a good husband right there.
So yes, I got attached.
Yeah, I'm not even going to discuss how many cats I have, but that was the problem. Like, we'll just bring them in and we'll just foster them. And then you're like, I can't give this thing away. This is mine.
Yes, I have fostered and I have failed, which means I then adopt them instead of giving them to someone else. I've done that too. So there's no shame in that. They got a good home.
But it's got to be tough letting these guys go. I mean, you're happy that they find their forever home for sure, but you're getting all these attachments to all these animals because, I mean, let's just be real, dogs are awesome.
Well, they definitely are, and right now we have over 120 dogs available at the kennel.
That's 120 too many.
Yeah, that is way too much. So we're hoping that maybe, if we can get a few of them out of here, get like a new people that we get to meet, and they have them understand where they can go and get these dogs. You can check us out on social media and contact one of our adoption counselors, and we will meet you. We will match you up with your perfect dog.
Awesome.
Well, I mean, and before we kind of let you go, I mean, first of all, the moment that dog does get adopted, though, that's got to be like one of the still like a great moment around.
It's a rush because you've worked so hard, and yes, you have got attached, and sometimes you foster them, or you've taken them on hikes, you've given them baths, you've loved them, you've marketed them, put them on your social media page, and yeah, it's wonderful when they get adopted into their happy homes. We have a great support system for adopters.
That's
we have like
got to be the ultimate payment.
it's awesome. And when you see people that see your shirt or and you see a dog that you think it might be a city dog, you looked at, and people are like, yeah, it's a city dog.
Oh, they know.
Those like out in the community, those are some of the great moments. So Beth, thank you so much for coming on. Just let everybody know how they can follow you one more time on City Dogs of Cleveland, so that they
City Dogs Cleveland and Friends of City Dogs Cleveland. And please reach out if you have any questions. We're always looking for adopters and volunteers.
Well, thank you so much.
If you ever need to come on and get the word out for a dog, just let us know.
You got plenty of places.
A connection in Craig through us.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Big Play Network. We are a big family, so we will try to help as much as we can out in the community. And we'll let you go back to. I know that the dogs are, probably interacting with a lot of the people, and hopefully, get some prospective adopters for the dogs you brought here today. So thank you so much, Beth, and enjoy this. What's turning out to be a great day here at the Top Dog Tailgate. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
That is Beth from City Dogs of Cleveland. Now, we'll get a couple other guests on here in just a little bit, but I mean, this is what this event is all about.
Yes.
There's a lot of people behind us having fun. They're in line to get the food off the grill. I see, got the apron on. Big Ray is behind the grill.
Massive line for food. I hope someone saves us some burgers.
So, and it's a community event, but it's also for a great cause. And, I know that once it is time for us, my fiance and I, to get a dog, I feel like City Dogs of Cleveland is going to be kind of one of those. Is definitely going to be a spot that we look at, because I feel the energy that of a dog owner, like what you want from fellow dog owners. You feel that energy about them, and just trying to get animals maybe coming in from a tough situation, or just needing a home because they're such a lovable animal.
I mean, they just become members of the family. Yeah. They're not pets. They truly become members of the family. Yeah,
and that's how it's always been. That's how it always will be with dogs, with pets.
And the one thing I always hear from dog owners, it's like, you could be having the worst day of your life, but when you get home and that dog is just so happy to see his tail going nuts, he just runs up and just because you're home, he's so happy. You're like, yeah, whatever. My day's good now. My dog loves me.
Yeah, I mean, we could use that right now. I mean, as much as we love our rabbit, he tends to run away more so than runs around the apartment and runs away from us than he actually comes to us. But we still love our rabbit as much as we love any dogs, cats, anything like that. Pets are, they're just another member of the family. Let's hit a break here and see if we can kind of situate our next guest coming on. If we need to take a break from that, we got plenty of Browns conversations that we talked about before the show to talk about. This is the Voice of Land right here on the Big Play Network.
Are you looking for a career in manufacturing? Vector Technical has you covered. Vector Technical is a 28-year-old staffing firm that has partnered with some of the biggest and the best companies throughout Northeastern Ohio. The recruiters at Vector Technical will coach you through the entire job process and will help you land an opportunity that you are truly excited about. Vector does not add any additional fees and offers benefits as well as free online skills training through Penn Foster. To learn more, visit www.vectortechnicalinc.com and make sure to check out our job board to see a full list of our current opportunities and apply.
Welcome back to this live remote edition of the Voice of the Land here at the Top Dog Tailgate, WJ Green Lodge, Metro Parks in Berea, Ohio, all for the City Dogs of Cleveland. And right now, someone that knows a lot about the City Dogs of Cleveland here on the Big Play Network, a member of our Big Play family, Craig Fountain, host of the Dogs Table, but also your own podcast, the Gingers Talking Football.
Yep.
Craig, thank you so much for coming on and coming out to this great event. I'm sure have you got a chance to get some of the food yet with this long line?
Still waiting on some of the food. It looks really good though. Still looks really good.
Here, man.
It's great
right now.
It looks great. So I have my son waiting in line for me to grab me a burger. But no, I appreciate you guys having me on. We drove up here from the Canton area, and we're having a blast so far. So
you had a little hike to get here.
A little bit of a hike. Yeah, I talked to some folks that have been, from Southern Ohio or even out of state though. So there's some long drivers that come to this thing. Absolutely.
And I know you guys feature the dog a week on the Dog's Table. Beth was just telling us about Hope, who got adopted. So really good for that. Just talk about from like your perspective that what City Dogs of Cleveland does for the community and getting dogs good homes.
So the City Dogs of Cleveland are friends of City Dogs of Cleveland, and Beth in particular. They are absolutely awesome, and they take kind of the dogs that are the least likely to get adopted, and they go the extra mile to try to find these dogs homes. And we partnered with them early on when we started our show, the Dog's Table, and we started doing this thing where, especially during the regular season, we do a dog of the week, and we feature an offensive and defensive MVP, offensive, defensive dog of the week, so to speak. So, but then we feature an adoptable dog every week on the show, and we try to assist in helping them get the word out. So Beth has been wonderful. She's been a great person to meet. She's, in the City Dogs of Cleveland, Friends of City Dogs of Cleveland, just an awesome organization, absolutely outstanding organization. So I'm excited that they've partnered with Dawg Tailgate. I believe this is the second year in the row.
Yep.
They've done it, and it's just such a great cause. They're awesome.
It is, and as soon as I saw the tweets going out there about this event, and Eric was talking about get your tickets because they're going to go fast. And when I kind of got some more information about it, I realized it's a donation to City Dogs.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's pretty much you get to $20 and whatever it was. Get a bunch of food, whatever you want to drink, and all the money goes to a great cause. You can't beat that, dude. You
absolutely.
just can't.
Never mind the fact we get to hang out with Browns fans.
Exactly.
All day.
Everyone's in a good mood. It's on a beautiful sunny day. Weather's holding out. It's great.
Yeah.
Awesome day, man.
And speaking of the Browns, I mean, you guys talk it all the time. Don't want to take too many of your takes maybe you have planned for this coming week, but this Jarvis Landry just signing with his hometown New Orleans Saints. Your thoughts on that signing and, what Jarvis meant to this team, maybe what they'll miss not having Jarvis here anymore.
Yeah, it was interesting to me that the Saints were the team that he ended up on. I was under the impression, and I thought a better fit might have been Baltimore or Green Bay. Fortunately,
I'm so glad he did not go to Baltimore.
So,
that was like my fear.
Yeah. And that was part of it. Is I'm kind of glad that he's not there. I was interested to see if Green Bay might have been an option for him, but I think he took $6 million. $6 million.
Yeah, that's a reported deal. 1 year,
Yeah.
$6 million. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting because the reports were coming out over the past week of, the Browns actually made an offer to Landry, and Landry actually came back with a couple different offers to the Browns, which was interesting. However, they're also saying that the Browns never offered more than the league veteran minimum for Jarvis. So that tells me they kind of threw something at the wall to see if it would stick.
Yeah.
And, they value him in the locker room. But I think that the biggest factor in them not bringing him back is we drafted David Bell. And David Bell is going to be the guy, I think, that's going to take on that role that Jarvis had. Now, with that being said, you can't replace the tenacity, the mentorship, the leadership of Jarvis Landry.
Right.
At least not yet. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that room's affected without Jarvis here.
So who do you think steps up in that leadership role, in that vocal leadership role? Because it seemed like he was one of them. Nick Chubb is just going to lead by example. David Bell seems like that kind of guy. Winfrey's just a rookie, even though he's got a lot of energy. Does it have to be Miles, or is there someone else on this roster that can be that vocal leader?
That's an outstanding question, because even looking at Amari Cooper coming in, right? Amari Cooper, it's well known that his attitude and his approach is very similar to Nick Chubb's.
Yeah.
He puts his head down. He's quiet. He goes to work. He doesn't talk crap. He just puts his head down, goes to work, puts his best foot forward. He's not interested in talking about it. So you lose a huge voice in Landry, and I don't think there's a clear-cut guy. Yeah. I don't know that Watson's that guy, especially on offense. Cooper's not going to be that guy. Chubb's not going to be that guy. I don't know if Watson's going to be that guy. I don't know. It's got to come from somebody, though. On defense, I think Miles has to step up, how vocal he is, and maybe he is. Maybe we just don't see it.
I could see Kareem Hunt stepping into that role for offense, and it eventually will become Deshaun Watson's role. And if he has to take that role. If he can't fill that role, you're not the proper quarterback anyway. So the quarterback should always be the leader, but he is the new guy in town. So I mean, I could see Hunt holding that down for a little bit.
Absolutely.
And all the stuff coming out about Watson, and I think came from building the Browns. Some of these rookies, like the first person to reach out to the cornerback from Mississippi State, his name is escaping me right now. But,
Emerson.
Martin Emerson.
Yeah.
First guy to reach out to him, Deshaun Watson. I've heard that from a couple different players. Like the first person to reach out to him is Deshaun Watson. We're hearing all the right things. We always hear the right things with the first
Right.
at the first point that someone gets here. We got to, it's still kind of a wait and see type thing. I mean, you mentioned the leadership. That probably is the guy. If you're going to have a franchise quarterback, he better at some point take on the vocal leadership, the leadership by example, and having the trust of his teammates, which he may have to do a little bit more of, earning the trust for different reasons. But it's got to be Deshaun Watson.
That absolutely comes with the territory, especially at $250 million guaranteed, basically. I expect that out of Deshaun Watson, and I think everybody should. It's one thing for a guy like Ryan Tannehill in Tennessee to be like, listen, I don't get paid to mentor guys. Like, I'll help him out, but it is what it is, But we bring in a guy like Deshaun Watson that is clearly part of our long-term plans. They've designated him as the franchise quarterback moving forward, long-term, nearly $250 million with a B, $250 million guaranteed. He better have this offense, that side of the ball. At a minimum, he better have them ready to go. He's got to take that role on.
Now, do you think I could see Myles Garrett becoming the overall leader of this team? Reggie White did it with the Packers when they brought him in, and they had Brett Favre there. But Reggie White was the leader of that team, and then they won a Super Bowl.
And I don't know what happened. I don't know what the progress was on that last year, because we know what storyline ended up taking hold of last year and has taken hold of this offseason, and people that want to fight back and forth about it. We're not going to mention it because we just don't want to dip into it right now. But I still go back to that game, the playoff game in Kansas City, when it's third down and long. You got Chad Henne in there. You get the sack on second down as Myles Garrett. You got to find a way to either yourself or do enough for your teammates to go make that next play when you have them in third and long. Again, he probably made a jump in vocal leadership and leadership on the field last year.
Yeah, he called out the defense. They showed up the next game.
Yeah, but those are the moments. That was that last playoff game in 2020 in the COVID year. Those are the moments that if this team is going to take those next steps, not only Deshaun Watson becoming a leader, Myles Garrett making those plays or doing enough for his teammates from a leadership standpoint on and off the field to go make that kind of play that determines one or two plays that determines a playoff game like that.
Absolutely.
Someone's trying to interrupt our show here.
Yeah, I literally just got like 5 phone calls. I was trying to silence my phone. I apologize.
No, it's all right.
Trust me,
all good.
Trust me, we've had phones go off. We've played our show, like the feedback of our show when it starts, when we're trying to share it. So it's all good. I guess one of the other things to kind of touch on with you, and I want to get Jay's thoughts on this too, because it was a question that came up as I was talking with Peter before the show. Rumors about adding to the defense, maybe just bringing someone back or even adding another player. And Ndamukong Suh and Davion Clowney are kind of the names that are being thrown around if there's going to add any depth. If there's one other room besides wide receiver room that has questions, it's defensive line.
I would love it.
Do you think it's more likely that one, both, or none come to this team?
Both. And you know what, Clowney, in my opinion, I would be surprised if he didn't sign.
Yes.
And the older he gets, the more likely he is. I mean, as a young guy, he was already like, listen, I'm dragging this out as long as possible. I want to do my own thing, which is fine. You can look at that however you want. As long as he's good and he does his work and he's in shape and shows up ready and stuff like that, fine. But, I think the interior of the defensive line, I don't think drafting Winfrey was enough. And we have some fringe guys. I mean, we have Togia, we have Sheldon Day. We have a couple guys that are going to be fighting for that spot. We have Taven Bryan and who's the other one? But it's escaping me. But either way, a guy like
Isaac Rochelle.
Yeah.
And I think they drafted someone from Oklahoma who's like a teammate to be along that defensive line, either defensive end or slide inside.
So with the interior of the defensive line, a guy like Suh could really work wonders, both from an experience perspective. He's been a part of winning teams and, winning franchises. He's experienced the culture. He's matured a lot over the years. I mean, when he first came into this league, he was a bull in a china shop, but he still plays with violence and that reckless abandon, and he still has something left in the tank. And if you have guys like Myles Garrett with Ndamukong Suh and Perion Winfrey and Jadeveon Clowney, I mean, if we put that all together
with that
in
secondary.
that front four, with that secondary, I mean, we would have one of the meanest defenses we've seen as Cleveland Browns fans. So
I want Ndamukong Suh to come here just for his pure nastiness, man. Like,
yeah.
I want
That's a
our
bad man.
defense to be nasty. Like, I don't want him to be nice. I want quarterbacks to be like, oh, man, I got to play the Browns this week. Damn. They got Ndamukong Suh who knows what he'll do to me. Like, he truly scares quarterbacks.
But you also want that that nastiness channeled the right way.
Yeah, over a year. At first, he was a dirty player, but he's learned to focus that into his play and got away from like stepping on people and stuff. I don't want that.
Right.
I'm saying, but when you're on that line, you can't be a nice guy. You have to be like John Randall. Perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
That guy was one of the nastiest defensive linemen. He just put it all on the line. Perion Winfrey seems like going to be one of those kind of guys.
Yeah,
just a little bit.
I mean, I'm excited to see if he can get that energy out, but not do it in a way where he's like a young Hainsworth or a young Sue, where he gets himself in trouble. And we've even seen some of the best guys, Myles Garrett, bias aside. I mean, that's one of the most stand-up guys in the league, I believe. And even he had an incident that was kind of out of the box for him, Just so happened it was one that nobody will ever forget. But, that's a nasty, nasty defensive line that we're speculating on. That would be amazing to me.
So, quarterbacks are worrying about that, which is going to give them no time. And if they throw it, well, you only got Greg Newsome and Ward out there and Delpit and Harrison and John Johnson III. And then we got JOK flying around doing whatever he does.
If you can get past Garrett, Clowney, Sue, and Winfrey, all you have to worry about is JOK. That's like
a lot of people are real excited about to see what this new offense is going to do.
Yeah,
I am so excited to see the defense. Like, I want to see him take. Because last year they took a massive jump through that season.
Absolutely,
I want to see
forget,
him take another jump.
We had Woods on the hot seat going into last season.
Yeah.
And I don't think that was
there's still people that think he's a bad coach.
What's that?
People still think he's a bad coach. I'm like,
I don't know.
Look what he did last year. He's a good coach. He's good. He's good to go.
Right now, he's a coach that you would fear losing for head coaching opportunities. But you would love it for him because he would get that opportunity, of course. But that's what you want. You want to set up a culture. You want to set up an organization where people are taking your assistant coaches, assistant GMs to be their GMs. You feel like you're building a tree and establishing a culture. I think this team is still a long way from actually establishing a culture. They set the foundation, and that foundation may have been broken down to its studs last year, just for many different reasons. Now, with the season coming up, I got to ask you, because I feel like Jay and I are going to debate this before we actually get off air today. Do you do the schedule game?
Do I do what?
Do you do the schedule game?
As far as
like
go through it, win, loss.
No, not really. I will if somebody asks me to, but we're always overly optimistic as fans. It's a weird game to play.
That blur we just saw is Ed in Columbus here, so things are
running
real wild now.
Yeah, he's definitely staying on brand. I saw their show, the Dog Chug, and they were trying to get him to.
We'll have him come on.
They were trying to do a deal, maybe finally get him his Guardians hat if he wouldn't wear a tie. But he said it's just like Pumpkinhead wearing the gourd on his head. He's got to wear a tie.
He's got to have the tie.
Got to have the tie on. But I mean, joking aside with the schedule game.
Yeah.
Looking at the schedule, what's one thing that may stand out to you, and kind of where's your optimism level with kind of the team navigating that schedule this season?
There's a couple things that really stand out to me. Number one is Carolina week 1. We haven't won a season opener since Baltimore in 2004, right?
Yes.
Jeff Garcia came in. We beat the Ravens 20-3 that year. It's interesting that the NFL chose Carolina. I think that's on the heels of the Baker Mayfield to Carolina fit rumors.
Yeah.
Because they're taking their best shot at week 1, the season opener ratings.
Get as many storylines as you can, as many people watching.
Exactly. But I feel like they went kind of easy on us for the first 4 weeks, but the second half of the schedule is going to be brutal. I'm not surprised that we only had a couple primetime games, although there are some flex opportunities later in the year. They gave us some home ones, which is nice, but I don't think they want whoever's calling the games to be talking about Deshaun Watson the whole time on national television.
Right.
So might be better than oh man, last year was awful. I had to mute it and turn on the radio a couple times in our primetime games I don't really do the win-loss thing, but there are some interesting things with the schedule. I like our bye weeks, week 9, right in the middle of the season, right smack dab middle. Let's get refreshed and go on that playoff chase.
I feel like you take the VTL approach, like realistic. We always try to look at things realistically on the show. I'm like so against the schedule game. I feel like Jay's more in favor of it. You're more realistic. Like, hey, if someone asks me, I'll do it, but I don't need to dip into it. It's just more of a general outlook on what the season is. It's May. It's a schedule on paper. What's that actually going to look like?
There's
when you
a lot
get to
still happen. There's a lot to still happen. And also, interestingly enough, Vegas, who likes to try to predict everything, we are the Vegas favorites to win the division, from what I understand. However,
predicted the 3rd place, I think.
However, they have not assigned us a win-loss total over-under because there's just not enough information out there. So, I actually tend to give Vegas a lot of weight with some of this stuff. I mean, these guys I don't know how they do it, but they're right on the money usually.
They usually are, except for the Cavs last season. But, they're usually pretty good. But no one saw the Cavs.
Hey, man, as long as, the over-unders are set right and the team now lives up to it and far exceeds that.
All I know is I've been playing that Bet Jack app a lot.
The training camp app?
Yeah. I'm not good at gambling.
No.
I've won a couple, but I've lost a lot more than I've won.
Yeah, I think that might be the only sports betting I ever do in my life, if I do any. It's going to be the training camp app with just coins that you're given every single day just to train yourself
which is fun. I want to see when football season comes on that, how much better I am because I know a lot more about the NFL than any other league.
Yeah.
But I got a feeling I'm still going to suck at gambling with that too.
Yeah, well.
I leave it to the professionals.
Well, more expenses are coming down the pipeline for me too. So
honestly, my favorite bets are like we had a T-shirt bet or like you got to wash my car or something like that. I don't really like to bet gamble money.
I'm glad we did a T-shirt, not washing the car.
Yeah.
Although he did insist. So Jay's rule, if you bet Jay and he wins, if he wins something, you have to hand deliver it to him. So
he's like, what's your address? I'm going to mail it to you. I'm like,
no, you're bringing it to Cleveland, buddy.
All right, Craig. Thank you so much for jumping on for a little bit. We're going to hit one more break here before the end. We're going to hop off at 3 because there's so much to do. We could go probably the whole day talking about all this stuff and try to get everybody on. I don't know that we'll be able to do it like we planned.
Frankly, I'm hungry. I don't want to talk no more.
Yeah, so I
told that I have him on.
And, my mom's blowing up my phone for some reason, so I got to talk to her. But, Craig, just let the people know how they can follow both the podcast and the show here on Big Play.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can follow me on Twitter at Craig A. Fountain. You can follow the podcast at Dawg's Table. We are a Browns Roundtable discussion show. We actually bring anybody and everybody on the show that wants to talk Browns on every single week.
Before Spaces. Yes. And had the idea first, by the way.
I feel like
and it's better than Spaces.
Yes.
You can actually see their expression on the face.
Think Twitter Spaces, but video, face-to-face.
Yeah.
As
better
Kevin
conversations, too.
Yeah, absolutely. And we just launched a new website. We're doing some Browns news and articles and content and stuff like that. Dawgstable.com. Make sure to check that out. So.
Yeah, I saw. Somehow I saw one of my former high school classmates, Matt Wilson, who graduated with me from Wycliffe. And
I love Matt Wilson. Matt's awesome.
Yeah,
Matt's awesome. He's an outstanding contributor for our website. He knows his stuff. He played football.
Yep.
He's one of those offensive line guys that loves the X's and O's, the scheming, the things like that.
Yeah.
And we were doing a lot of draft profiles. Man, what a wealth of knowledge he is. So
that was kind of just cool to see like that.
Why haven't had him on, man? You holding out on us?
I haven't. I gotta reconnect with him and I'll get him on. Don't worry, we'll do that. We'll cross promote across the shows. Don't worry about that. But Craig, thank you so much again from the Dawg's Table, Ginger's Talking Football podcast as well. Thank you so much. We're gonna hit our final break of the afternoon here with our live remote, but also if you're watching on or listening on replay, this is the Voice of Land right here on the Big Play Network.
Whether you're looking to hire new talent or start a new career, Vector Technical has you covered. Vector Technical is a 28-year-old staffing firm that has helped thousands of job seekers advance in their career with reputable partners throughout Northeastern Ohio. Vector Technical is more than just a temp agency. With an above average hire-in rate of 1 in 4 candidates, Vector works hard to connect the right person with the right opportunity the first time. Vector Technical hires for skilled manufacturing and light industrial work and is sure to have a career that you've been looking for. To learn more, visit our website at www.vectortechnicalinc.com.
Get your gear at voiceoftheland.com/shop.
Welcome back one final time this afternoon. The first ever live remote for Voice of the Land here at the Top Dog Tailgate off-season edition at the Metro Parks in Berea.
Guestapalooza here today, man.
Yeah, man. Guests are just flowing through. Of course, the donations for coming to the tailgate going to City Dogs of Cleveland, so make sure to check them out across all social media. And if you're on social media and you follow Brown's Twitter, just Cleveland Twitter in general, you may recognize his face, especially since he's been putting more dance videos
if you're
out
on
there.
Brown's Twitter and you don't know Ed in Columbus,
It is
you
Ed.
ain't on Brown's Twitter.
It is Ed in Columbus. What's going on, Ed? How are you doing today, man?
What's up, guys? Finally, Ed in Columbus has come back to Berea. Yes, I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio. I was born here, so great to get back. Great weather today, great event. City Dogs, awesome charity and everything. Save those dogs. Do everything good, but glad I'm with you, Kevin, because you're a soccer guy.
Yes, I
like
Yes,
soccer.
I am.
You know, if I got to talk soccer all day, I will, because we got a team in Columbus, the Columbus Crew. Now, sometimes when I watch them, I get a little confused because I see Jimmy Haslam, I see D Haslam, but I see the black and gold. And you know what? But we went down in Columbus, and I'll take that. Hopefully, the brown and orange can get it done this fall.
Do you go to a lot of Crew games?
I've been to one in the new lower.com field.
How is it? Because we haven't got a chance to get down there for a game yet. We saw the outside of it. We took a trip for my birthday, as you know. Same birthday, by the way. So, but we didn't get a chance to go inside. What is it? What is the atmosphere in there like? It feels more soccer across the pond like in there.
Absolutely. Let's just say this, Kevin. When Armo Dell walked into Jacobs Field and he looked over in right field and he saw that beautiful, beautiful restaurant, and he got mad about his situation. Well, that's how people are going to feel when they come to the lower.com field, because it's a beauty. The Columbus Crew original stadium, back soccer-only stadium that they had back in the day as the original club of the MLS. That was a beautiful stadium, and it's nostalgic. But this one, it beats it. And, Cincinnati, I like the little rivalry we got with them. They got a beautiful brand new one as well, so check that out as well. And they are in the state of Ohio. I will concede that for tax purposes only.
My uncle, or my fiance's uncle, is the scoreboard engineer for them. So I'll have to get us some tickets. And since you're already down there, you're going to go to the game with us. Sound good?
Yeah. Drinks on me, guys.
I mean, we don't drink, but sure, we'll be cheap drinks.
Well, and I'm looking.
I don't either.
I'm looking to get into that new stadium too, because I have a bittersweet relationship with Mafre Stadium, the original Crew Stadium.
I was there one time for like the Rock in the Range concert, the very first one.
Yeah, that's a big event that they would do down there.
Oh my God! By the end of that thing, I was so dead. That's all I remember is ZZ Top's on. I'm like, yeah.
I lost the state championship in that stadium, so
we got to talk Cleveland Crunch. I know my man's associated with the Cleveland Crunch, and
yes,
he's the voice of the Cleveland
Crunch. You know what? I know they fell short in their championship this year. I know they won the first year. I remember back in the day when I was here. I left in '92 to move to Columbus. I've been there ever since. But I love me some Hector Marinero. I like some Orf. Even the Columbus or Cleveland Forest back in the day. I love me some indoor soccer. So I'm glad you're a part of that, and you do a great job on Twitter. So follow Kevin on Twitter because he is the voice of Cleveland indoor soccer, Cleveland Crunch.
Thank you so much, Ed. Yeah, I mean, and I've said on the show many times, I think I've even said it to you guys, it means a lot to me to do that, and I know it means a lot to Peter, but, the kid that grew up on soccer, and that was the sport that I probably, grew to the most to start out with. That was the tickets that my family had the money for, because it was inexpensive, but you had a great time. It was a great fan experience.
He's making a fan out of me. Like, I went to one of the games. It's so intense compared to, like, outdoor soccer did. It was awesome. It was like hockey and soccer combined.
Because it's just back and forth and just up and down. But of course, this is a Browns tailgate, so we gotta talk some Browns. As much as I would love to just do a soccer conversation.
Shout out to my North Olmsted Eagles, 1996 Division I state champions. I remember that. So North Olmsted Eagles, way to go.
My dad's side of the family would be maybe rivals. Olmsted Falls rivals, a little bit. Okay, but yeah, Browns. Jarvis Landry just signing with the New Orleans Saints. We've kind of been talking about that and the schedule the most of the day with everybody we kind of had on. Just starting with Jarvis, I mean, leader of that team, where do you think they can find maybe that missing piece of leadership that Jarvis was to this team, or is that irreplaceable?
It's irreplaceable, but you know what I like? I like something that probably nobody's going to say. This is a hot take, probably the freshest one. But you know who the leader's going to be? It's going to be a rookie. It's going to be the Bell kid from Purdue. You know what I'm saying? You know, I like what Stefanski said about him. He's quiet. He just does his job, and I think obviously he's got what Jarvis can do, but he's cheaper, he's younger, he's faster. And I think this guy's going to be the real deal in Cleveland. So, you know, I think this team is ready to rock and roll. And I think, you know, replacing Jarvis's leadership, I don't think they need to anymore. I think with Myles Garrett stepping up, I think with Deshaun taking over, I like what he's doing weekend with Bernie, as I call it, great PR move that he's doing. But I also like what he's doing with his teammates. I mean, say what you want about the other stuff, just on the field and in the locker room. I like what he's doing. We'll worry about the other stuff later. But I think that he's got to be the identity of the offense. And so, Jarvis, we'll miss you. The Saints come marching in on Christmas Eve, and I'm sure the fans will show you love down at First Energy Stadium.
Now, I mean, David Bell sounds like could be a silent assassin. Nick Chubb, silent assassin. Amari Cooper, silent assassin. There's plenty of that on this team. I don't know. As fans, we've been kind of clamoring for those vocal leaders to really rally the team. But can this team be a successful organization then, being a group of silent assassins that just go out there and lead by example, go do their work, do their job, do that right by their teammates? Can this be a successful Browns organization that way?
I think so. You know, I think with this whole analytics thing, and look at, you know, what the Rams do, I think Stefanski, what Jimmy Haslam envisions is Andrew Berry, Kevin Stefanski run organization where, you know what, our talking's going to be on the field. It's going to be winning drafts. It's going to be doing things, you know, to fix now, but also 2 years in advance. So, you know, some of the moves that Andrew Berry made, I know we're taking that cornerback first, you know, people scratching their heads, but, you know, with Greedy Williams and then with, you know, the kid they traded back to the Rams, it's probably a solid move. And, you know, you got to maintain to be a Super Bowl champion, but you also got to maintain that down the road. So I like what they're doing. They're not just going for one and done. They're looking for sustained success. But to answer your point, I know we like the rah-rah kind of stuff, and it's football. I mean, obviously that's what you want. But do I think they can be successful with the Silent Assassins? I do like that nickname. So you coined that hashtag Silent Assassins. It's rock and roll this year. I like that.
If someone else says that, if this
it's Kevin. No, this box right here.
Get the tape. Cut the tape right here.
Yeah, like Hugh Jackson said. Yep. Now, that's enough about that.
Oh, man. So, how much more we got to go? I mean,
we got a little bit of time, but I mean,
talk to me, Jay. What's going on, my man?
I mean, I haven't seen you since the Whoopty Hell party when you were cutting a rug there out there.
And I hear something. I don't. You know, this is your show and everything. I don't want to get too much into promoting Hammer and all that, but I know they got something coming up in a party or something like that. Coming up.
They announced the date. I believe it is the 23rd. Well, they don't say where.
Oh, okay. Well, I want to cut a rug that day too. Anytime I can come up here, and I know. Congratulations.
Doesn't go
somebody over there has got some employment.
He's not allowed to talk about it.
I don't want to do that. This is Voice of the Land. I'm not getting paid today by them, but we love you guys.
Now you're doing 2 podcasts now, correct?
Three podcasts. Driving my wife crazy. Yeah, Down with the Browns on Monday. Barking Browns on Tuesday, and the Dog Chug.
I've been on the Dog Chug before. That's a great time.
And, honestly, when it comes to being me, I love, the Dog Chug was the first one I was on, and I love it because it lets me be a little bit, I can act, I can be a thespian. Ed in Columbus is more than just, loving the Browns and stuff, but that's loving all of Cleveland. It's all of the entertainment. I do love some Ed in Columbus, but I love you guys, and I'm glad that you guys, have me on because, this is fun. Coming up and being home. It's more than just being home. My grandma was the last, real family member that we used to use her house to, go to the bathroom before we go to that. But it was more seeing grandma. She'd always have macaroni and cheese ready for us. But since she's been gone, I don't have that. But, Brown's Twitter, say what you want about it and the whole wars that it goes after. Yeah. It's brought me to, as being a family with you guys. And I appreciate that the most. As we get older and we actually lose our real family, it doesn't mean we have to, lose numbers. Right. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you
Twitter's
guys.
The best of the world and the worst of the world.
Amen.
Today, this is the best of the world
yes,
today.
I feel like there's 2 sections of Browns Twitter. The Browns Twitter that just wants to fight with each other, and you can't have a different opinion than someone else in that version of it. There's the real Browns Twitter, which is grown for things like this, where you can have realistic conversations. You may disagree, but you all understand where those takes are coming from. And at the end of the day, we all just want the team to win, and that's what the conversation stemmed from. Speaking of wins, before we get out of here, got to get everybody's win total. We'll get audio in on this as well. We don't do the schedule game here. Jay, you can do that when we're off because there won't be a show next week with wedding. And while I'm on my honeymoon, Jay will find a co-host to do the show with the last Sunday in May. So you can do the schedule game then. But just gut instinct, throw it out there.
13
APJ,
wins.
how many wins?
13 wins. Mark it down.
Ed.
12-5, but win the division for the first time since 1989.
Audio.
I think they're going to go 12-5.
12 was my win total as well. So 12-5, pushing for the division or one of those top wild card spots.
Jay is positive, so
I like it.
So Jay's got to get the.
I'm that guy that just ones up people. You know, and it's,
So, Ed, thank you so much. Tell the people how they can follow you and follow the podcast.
At Ed in Columbus, I'll be down with the Browns on Monday, Barking Browns on Tuesday, and Dog Chug on Wednesday. I love me some me, but I love these guys more. Voice of the land. Catch some Sundays. Love you guys.
Thank you so much. Yes, catch us Sundays live at 7 p.m., except for next Sunday as I walk down the aisle and wait for my beloved fiance who is behind audio right now to walk down the aisle and finally put the real
we
ring
just call
on.
her the better half.
That ring.
Yep. I like that. I like that ring for Ed in Columbus. I don't know if I got as good of a ring as that. For her.
It don't matter. It's
it's
a love. It's a love for life.
The love. It's the life together. That is for sure. So until next time on the Voice Land for Ed in Columbus, always positive, Jay. Peter Teleport, audio as we call him, our producer extraordinaire. I am Kevin Arnold, reminding all of you sports fans, don't let anyone ever tell you it's just a game. We truly love you all 3,000. And as our great late friend Mike Allen always used to say, live life, all gas, no breaks. We will see you next time right here on the Voice Land, the Big Play Network.